This woman comes back arm in arm with another man to honor her late husband, only to see a scene that makes her freeze in shame. She never expects that. 10 years after her husband's death, the dog Hachi is still sitting at the station, waiting for him. Dirty, frail, and no longer the proud dog he once was. His eyes look distant.
You're still waiting.
She has moved on with her life, but Hachi, he's still here, waiting like a fool. 10 years. Even the most passionate love can fade, but this dog's loyalty never wavers. The coffee vendor nearby wipes away tears. Maybe only he knows what Hachi has been through in these 10 long years. The dog clearly recognizes her, yet avoids her gaze, afraid to miss a single passenger stepping off the train. The story begins one night. In the crowd of a busy station, fate brings Hachi into the path of a music professor heading home late.
Lost?
The professor is kind. He knows a dog this clean can't be a stray, but after the last train leaves, no one comes for him. At the station office, he's told they can only keep the dog one night. If no one claims him tomorrow, he'll be sent to the pound. Sensing their reluctance, the professor secretly takes him home, but his wife doesn't want a dog, so he hides the little guy in the study. She kisses him, promising a surprise, but he knows he's got a surprise of his own. Climbing the stairs, he prays the pup stays quiet. But that's wishful thinking. The dog slips through the door and runs straight to the bedroom, interrupting their moment. It's not that his wife hates dogs. She once had one, but losing it broke her, and she swore never again. The professor promises to take the dog away tomorrow. For now, he puts him in the storage room, even adding a toy for company. He turns off the light to leave, but stops. Those scared little eyes freeze him. He turns the light back on, giving the dog a faint glow to feel safe. But as soon as he leaves, the dog is back at the crack in the door, watching. The next day, their daughter sees him and is instantly smitten. The professor thinks he's found an ally, until his wife pulls out adoption flyers and orders him to post them. Reluctantly, he tries taking the pup to the pound, but all the cages are full. Even worse, if no one adopts him in 2 weeks, they'll put him down. The professor can't bear it, so he tries his friend's bookstore, but the store's resident cat bullies the newcomer, so that's a no. He ends up back at the coffee vendor's stall. Want a dog? He jokes. The vendor scoffs. Feeding, walking, bathing, all that work. The professor doesn't answer, because for dog lovers, they're not a burden, they're family. Running late, he takes the dog to school. Of course, the pup escapes the crate mid-class, curious about everything. After the lecture, a Japanese colleague tells him it's an Akita, and the 8 on its tag means luck. The professor names him Hachi. When he asks if his colleague wants the dog, the man laughs. Hachi's already chosen you. From now on, he's yours, for life. Determined to keep him, the professor tries winning over his wife. She's unimpressed, until chaos strikes. Hachi destroys a handcrafted art piece she's been working on for months. They're both kicked out. That night, locked outside, Hachi curls up against the wind. Through a crack, he sees his owners arguing. He knows he's in trouble, so he waits, quietly, for tomorrow's judgment. But soon the professor comes back, afraid Hachi might be scared alone outside. He sneaks him into the house. Fresh from an argument with his wife, he doesn't dare go back upstairs. Instead, he curls up with Hachi and watches a baseball game. 1 bucket of popcorn, shared, no judgment from either side. When his wife comes downstairs, she finds them asleep on the sofa. She's about to turn off the TV, but Hachi licks her fingers playfully. She just rolls her eyes, unmoved. But the professor wakes up, apologizing over and over. Seeing him so cautious, she realizes she might have been too harsh. The next day, he teaches Hachi to fetch. Confident and Akita, this smart will get it instantly, only to watch him ignore the ball completely. Still, the professor patiently demonstrates, until it turns into the dog teasing the man. Inside, his wife gets a call. Someone saw the adoption flyer and wants Hachi. She's ready to take down the address. But then she looks out the window, her husband and Hachi playing like kids, their daughter joining in. It's been so long since the house felt this warm. The ice in her heart starts to melt. She hangs up. From then on, Hachi becomes part of the family. Under their love, he grows into a beautiful, shiny-coated dog, but he's clingier than ever. Every morning, he lies by the gate, watching the professor leave. One day, he digs a hole under the fence and shows up at the station. The professor can't believe his eyes. After a quick hug, he sends him home, but the dog follows. The professor misses his train just to walk him back and fill in the escape hole. He warns Hachi not to do it again, and for a while, he doesn't. Until one afternoon, the sound of the train whistle makes him leap over the fence. He races to the station, waiting on the flower bed. When the professor steps out, Hachi's eyes light up. He jumps straight into his arms. Thinking his wife brought him, the professor is stunned when the coffee vendor says he came on his own. Even the station staff regret missing the sight. The next day, Hachi follows again. The professor tries sending him back, but those pleading eyes make him cave. From then on, the dog escorts him every morning, then leaves quietly, only to be back at exactly 5 p.m., waiting in the flower bed. Rain or snow, blistering heat or freezing cold, he's always there. Soon, the whole town knows them. One day, the professor's daughter brings home her boyfriend. In the yard, he tries playing fetch with Hachi. No response. The professor explains he never fetches. The boyfriend awkwardly goes to get the ball himself, tripping in the process. The professor once asked his Japanese friend about it. The answer? Akitas never fetch unless they have a special reason. At the time, he didn't think much of it, until one morning, Hachi acts strange. He backs away, spins in circles, barks madly, as if warning his master not to leave, but the professor soothes him and heads out. Moments later, Hachi rushes to the shed, grabs that same ball he's always ignored, pushes open the door, and bolts toward the station. The professor glances back along the way, relieved when Hachi catches up before he enters. But today, something shocks the professor. For the first time ever, Hachi fetches the ball he throws. Surprised, he tosses it again, and the dog eagerly brings it back. The professor can't hide his grin, showing off like a child to the station staff. By now, his Japanese friend's warning is long forgotten. About to miss the last train, the professor finally heads in. Hachi spins in circles, barking, but the professor calms him, "See you after 5, and disappears into the station. Hachi watches the train pull away, his brow furrowed as if sensing something. In the lecture hall, the professor still holds that ball in his hand, as if Hachi is right there beside him. But moments later, pain strikes. He collapses, the ball rolling away. He never gets back up. At 5 p.m., the crowd spills from the station, but the professor never appears. The sun sets. The platform empties. Still no sign of him. For the first time, Hachi fails to meet his master. Confused, he waits until nightfall. Headlights appear. It's the professor's son-in-law, here to take him home. That night, through a crack in the wall, Hachi sees the grief in the house. Hears the quiet sobs of the professor's wife and daughter. He must know. The next day, the family holds the funeral. Friends, relatives, everyone's there, except Hachi. At 5 p.m., he's at the station, sitting in the flower bed, scanning every face. He doesn't understand the gravestone, doesn't read the pity in strangers' eyes. All he knows is the professor hasn't walked out that door. Even when the last train leaves, he stays. The station attendant tries to coax him away, telling him the professor will never return. But Hachi can't comprehend life and death. In his mind, if the professor left here, he'll come back here. Later, the professor's wife moves away, leaving this sorrowful place. Hachi is taken to live with the daughter and her husband. The new home is beautiful. He even has his own little house. But he's listless, haunted by longing. One evening, as the son-in-law comes home, Hachi bolts through the door. No matter how he calls, the dog doesn't look back. Racing through snowy woods, he follows the familiar train tracks all the way to the professor's old home, now filled with strangers. Realizing he can't go back, he runs straight to the station. Ignoring stares, he sits again on the flower bed across from the gate. The coffee vendor, once annoyed by him, now offers him a hot dog. Soon, the daughter and her husband find him. After much coaxing, he returns with them, but back home, he refuses to eat, his spirit dim. Then, train whistles. Hachi rushes to the fence, eyes full of yearning. The daughter understands. He still wants to wait for her father, so he returns to the station, and this time, he stays, becoming a true stray. Every day, from early afternoon until the last train, he waits. Every face that emerges, he greets with hope, tail wagging. Thanks to the professor's good standing in the community, Hachi never goes hungry. Locals bring food, the coffee vendor keeps him warm, and at night, he sleeps by an abandoned track. His story spreads. Letters, money, and gifts pour in. The station staff care for him. Even the professor's Japanese friend comes to see him, making no effort to dissuade him. In the world of dogs, Hachi's life is far from over. His reason to live is to keep waiting. Season after season, year after year, 10 long years. He waits through sunshine and blizzards, blooming springs and dying winters. Only death can separate him from his master. One day, on the 10th anniversary of the professor's passing, his wife returns for the memorial. On her way back, she freezes, staring at a frail, filthy stray dog limping toward the station. It's Hachi. His once glossy coat is dull, his steps heavy and slow, yet nothing can stop him from taking his place. He climbs onto the flower bed, turns to face the station doors, and sits. The wife rushes over, barely believing her eyes. Time passes. Hachi lifts his head. Finally, he sees the professor again. This time, they leave together, to a place called heaven, where they will never be apart.